What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about electrical hookups and everything involved with installing them next to a house. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel and I'm going to be putting my tiny house in the front yard of my parents' driveway, and they have a house with an older electrical system, so I figured if you're in a similar situation where you're possibly parking it in someone's property and you want electrical hookups installed, this might be an interesting video for you. I'm going to be talking about the cost involved with installing the hookups and also a giant mistake that I made when getting them installed. That was a rather exciting and terrifying thing that happened. I'll be telling about that at the end of the video. And most of this video is going to be recorded inside because of all the traffic noise, so bear with me here. But let's just give you a tour of what it looks like. I'll give you kind of a fun camera angle to show you what it looks like back there. So my particular tiny house is running on 50 amp power and 240 volt. And that is because it's a larger tiny house and it's going to be having a washer and dryer and also a mini split unit, which have traditionally higher electrical needs. It also has a male plug on the unit, so that means it'll be plugging into a wall. Like if you have a vacuum cleaner, your plug on the vacuum cleaner goes into the wall. My plug, the tiny house, goes into the wall of the outdoor hookup area on my tiny house. The mistake that I made, which was crazy, was I accidentally got a female plug installed on or I assumed that there was a female style plug on my tiny house, and I got the wrong style of hookup, so it actually stuck out. And when my family got our thing inspected to make sure it was all good and good to go, it ended up not passing inspection. And apparently the inspector, I wasn't there at the time, but apparently the inspector looked at it for 15 seconds and went, "Nope, you need to turn off that breaker right now. It could electrocute somebody." And we went, "What?" Because apparently you don't want that style of thing, because if it's not plugged into something, it can theoretically arc, especially if it's around water, and just shoot out and kill somebody. So don't make the mistake that I made. It was a little complicated understanding the technicalities associated with what we needed, and we got some really useful pictures from our tiny house touch point person, Rick at Zero Squared. He sent us some pictures, and then we sent those to our electrician, and that was just all a little miscommunication-y, and I don't have a firm grasp on electrical theory yet and what goes into it, so we were all just trying to figure it out. And Ross, who actually installed the tiny house, was super, super nice, and they agreed to come back out and reinstall the new unit. So as you guys may already know, I live just outside of the Portland metro area in Marion County, in a place with a relatively high cost of living. So the entire cost for having my electricians come out was $4,700, which sounds like a lot. But thankfully I was not financially responsible for all of that cost, because the electricians did a lot of other things besides put in the RV style hookups. They also put in a new circuit breaker box, like the control panel box that's like a metal box, because that was 90 years old and needed to be updated. There was also a new bathroom fan that was installed, and surge protection got installed into the entire house just in case there's fire, there's power outages. So there was a lot of other things involved, but the cost of getting my tiny house hookups installed and having that put into the panel, I paid about $1,200 for that. It could theoretically be cheaper depending on if you live in a newer house. This house is very old, so things are generally more complicated to to work around the existing electrical system. So if you have a newer house with a more up-to-date electrical system, That could be cheaper if you live in a area with a lower cost of living. You could potentially pay a lot less, but this is just to give you all a ballpark. If you live in Oregon, maybe it'll be something similar to this for what you're paying. If you like this video, or go ahead and hit the subscribe button and push the like button for me for the YouTube algorithm. It really, really, really does help. If you have any questions, clarifications, input, or possible ideas, anything above, just go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. I'll be putting out another video next week all about composting toilet systems, kind of going back to that. And also I'm going to be buying a bell tent, so you guys will also be getting a tour of that sometime in the next 2 weeks. So yay, fingers crossed. Yay, so excited. And that's where I'll be living until my tiny house is delivered. It'll just be out in the backyard with a nice little wood stove or something to keep me warm in the evening.